Thanks for joining us. Now, in our first story, the Supreme Court has given the Attorney General the green light to sell properties belonging to businessman Alfred Agbeshi-Woyome worth 20 million Ghana cedis. The court has also ruled that receivers of defunct UT Bank were colluding with Mr. Woyome to prevent the state from satisfying a 51.2 million CD debt. The Attorney General's office had earmarked the 3 residential properties located at Trasacco Valley Estates and Accra New Town for sale to defray a 47.2 million CD judgment debt owed the state by Mr. Woyome. But receivers of the defunct bank claim it owns the properties due to the businessman's failure to repay a loan, a position the state vehemently disagrees with. Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame, who has been speaking to pressmen after the court's decision in his favor, said the state will press criminal charges against the businessman for colluding with the bank.
So the decisions of the court were quite clear that the claim by UT Bank and Allowances Limited were all a sham. In respect to the claim by UT Bank, the court indicated that it was actually a collusion, as the Attorney General alleged, was an effort to collude with the judgment debtor to avoid a satisfaction of the judgment debt. And that to me is very significant. To me, it holds a lot of significance for accountability and the rule of law, that indeed you cannot pillage or deprive the state of funds and then resort to all manner of tactics just to avoid a satisfaction of the judgment debt given against you. And to me, it goes a long way for establishing and consolidating the rule of law, and also it's a shot to the arm for the fight against impunity, the lack of accountability. So it has a lot of significance for accountability as far as I'm concerned. And we're very much satisfied by the ruling. And as we continued right from the beginning, the claims were collusive. And the court having so found that Woyome attempted to collude with a bank to prevent an execution of judgment against him, to me it's really an act that the state can take him on in terms of criminal prosecution, what I mean. Clearly, this is something that I will consider prosecuting him for crime. And as you remember, I indicated, well, in all the effort that were made by Woyome to avoid satisfaction of judgment debts, that there's a day of reckoning will come. Until the day of reckoning, then to God be the glory.
Away from that, an audit on the EC was part of special audits carried out by the Auditor General on selected state institutions in 2018. In that same report, the Auditor General's office described as untenable 190,000 cedis special citizen allowances paid to MPs by the Ghana Exports Promotion Authority. The audit reveals part of the amount is also captured as honorariums and was given to members of Parliament's Finance, Trade, Industry and Tourism committees. There is more in the following report.
The audit report quotes the Public Financial Management Act that requires principal spending officers of an entity to ensure the proper use of money. It notes that contrary to this legislation, between August and December 2017, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority made payments to the tune of 192,400 cedis, described as courtesies and protocols, special and sitting allowances to all the members and supporting staff of Parliamentary Select Committees on Trade, Industry and Tourism, Finance and the Women's Caucus in Parliament. It further states that the committee members did not sign the claim sheets to acknowledge receipts of the monies purportedly paid to them. The Auditor General therefore handed the authority a lifeline to justify the payment or have the former Director of Finance refund the amount. The authority agreed with the recommendation, stating that they will provide the appropriate justifications with documentation to substantiate the payments. A former Deputy CEO, Akilu Saibu, and a former staff member have also been directed to refund an amount of 23,562.50 cedis, which the Auditor General captures as an earned clothing allowance.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Dafia-Mekpo, has described the Auditor General's action as bastardizing the institution of Parliament.
Recently, we worked on the Ghana Standards Authority Bill, okay, and I was part of the retreat that really went through the bill with with hundreds of amendments. So we referred it back to them to redraft and bring it so that when you get to plenary, the work is faster. And I'm part of the winnowing committee as well in Parliament. Now, if the Trade Ministry says that, well, I am inviting all members of the committee to say an outpost. So let's say Eastern Premier Hotel in Koforidua for a weekend, so that you can concentrate on working on this bill for me. I don't pay my hotel bills. I don't pay for the meals you give me. But if you don't craft your narrative like this and you say it's amount of honorarium,
okay, I mean, I think I
have a difficulty.
I'm sorry.
Let me wind up.
Right.
I don't know what the Women Caucus did for the ministry to assist them. If it is a donation, say so expressly, and don't seek to bastardize the whole of the parliamentary institution in this manner. When they are undertaking some community outreach to talk to young girls, to go out, they look for support.
Right.
In terms of fuel and all that, they look for support. That one I must be honest with you. So if a ministry decides to support them, all right, that's it. I think it should be properly couched.
Now, away from the Auditor General, but still with how our funds are spent, over 98% of the annual budget funding amount for the 2018 education priorities in the oil sector was used to finance free senior high school. The Public Interest and Accountability Committee report for the period reveals the remaining 1.25% was dispersed on capital investments or infrastructure. Chairman of PIAC, Dr. Steve Mantial, believes more attention to job creation will empower people to cater for their children's education than for the states to directly bear the cost. He spoke at the launch of the 2018 PIAC annual report in Kumasi. Pinsapia was there. Now reports.
The annual budget funding account, ABFA, for 2018 received allocation of over 827,653,566 Ghana cedis 25 pesos from the Ministry of Finance for the 4 priority areas. The education priority area had 419,871,012 Ghana cedis 44 pesos, representing 51% of the total ABFA. A total of 98.75%, which is over 440 million Ghana cedis of the disbursement, was spent on the free SHS policy. 100 million Ghana cedis spent on the second tranche payment for the policy, and over 340 million Ghana cedis was spent for third term 2017-2018 academic year, while the remaining 1.25% was spent on educational infrastructure. Chairman of PIAC, Dr. Steve Mantial, says this must be reviewed.
I made my point that PIAC as a committee is in full support. We even see the free education as a better use of the revenues than those growth projects. Okay? But we need to think through whether it's a strategy that will give us the best returns. Let's use the oil revenue to create jobs so people can get jobs and use the money, the income, to pay their children's school fees. That is more sustainable. That's all. These children going through the school system. If we don't use oil money to create jobs, when they come out of school, they have no jobs. So we are saying that it's a balancing act. You can support, okay? You can support free SHS with a portion of the oil revenue. Maybe you say pay 50% or some subsidy, and then use the other portion to lay the basis that will provide jobs for these children when they come out of school. So I think it's a debate all Ghanaians should get involved in. One person does not have the solution, and the people we vote into power don't have monopoly over knowledge.
Dr. Mantial's submission was fiercely objected to by the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah at the launch of the 2018 PIAC annual report held in Kumasi.
Maybe, you see, it never affected him, so he underrated 3 SHS. My uncle borrowed 40 cedis in 1974. That changed my life. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone to secondary school. If you don't witness it, you say it different. I'm a living witness. I'm a living practical example. And I appreciate what free SHS is doing. You don't know it today, but I'm telling you, you cannot underrate it. I have some of my mates who could not enter secondary school. Me, I will defend free SHS with my last blood.
Prince Appiah reporting.
Away from that, the family of a 26-year-old man was lynched and his body set ablaze by a mob at Achim Achiasi near Kumasi is demanding justice. Wahab Sabani, a driver's mate, is said to have been called out as a thief by the chief of a town, who is said to have fired 3 warning shots. This attracted a mob who dragged him on the floor, lynched him and set his body ablaze. Family spokesperson Mohammed Mumuni Zakari says the family requires nothing short of the arrest of the killers of Sabani to face the full rigors of the law. My colleague Ohiming Teria has been following up on the story and joins us on the telephone. Ohiming, take us back to the beginning. What happened to Sabani?
Thank you, Daniel. On 20th of this month, Sabani Wahab, a driver's mate, aged 26, went to the Echem Achiasi community from his family house at Aswasi in Kumasi, and I'm told that is where the deceased mate and his master driver has been flying. They have been flying that route. So he went to the chief's town, the chief's house, and when the chief saw him, apparently the chief asked him questions and he wouldn't answer the chief. And so the chief fired 3 warning shots, called out the deceased as a thief, which attracted the mob to the house. And then the mob, I'm told, dragged him on the floor to about 10 meters away from the chief's house, attack him, lynch him in the process, and set his body ablaze. So by the time the Juso police had the report and they got to the community, he had already been killed. So his body was conveyed to the Jabin Hospital morgue for autopsy. And later, information got to the family that the late Wahab Sabani has been attacked in the community. And the family say the late Wahab has never been a thief nor an armed robber, just that he has been suffering from high fever. So they suspect that at the time of the attack, he was under a high fever attack. So they want police to act as quick as possible to bring all the perpetrators who involved in this particular case to book, Daniel.
Ohiming, what has happened to the chief?
For now, the chief, Nana Kusi Babu II and one Akwesi Edu have been arrested by the Ejusu police, and they were arraigned at the Ejusu Magistrate Court on provisional charges of murder. And we are told they have been remanded into police custody to reappear on July 10, 2019.
Thanks, Ohiming Teria, for that update. You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. There's more after this break. Do stay. On our Tech Thursday story, a Kumasi-based innovation hub is set to put locally assembled solar and electric power vehicles on the market by September this year. This comes after successfully piloting motorbikes and tricycles, expected to reduce transportation costs and address carbon emission concerns. Managers of Kumasi Hive say the first fleet of clean fuel vehicles to run commercially will be driven by young females in an empowerment move.
Busy streets of Abuabo, a community where tricycles have virtually taken over private commercial transport. Many have now accepted them because of easy access and affordability. In spite of ready markets, operators of the tricycle are reeling under persistent fuel price charges, mostly upward. Hudu Samsudin has been in the business for over a year now.
Even the whole day can work maybe 130 cities. or maybe 1, 2. So removing the sales of the owner 50 cedis, remaining the 50 cedis you used to buy fuel. Maybe we get 30 cedis as your income, and that may be really affected because this time the cost of living is very high.
Most of these vehicles and tricycles on the roads in the city emit high levels of harmful fumes, resulting in high carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, destroying the ozone layer. According to World Health Organization, an estimated 6,500 people die from air pollution annually in Ghana. Perhaps solar and electric powered vehicles may be the solution to the problem.
I read an article and they were like about 70% of the carbon dioxide or carbon fumes that destroy the ozone layer are from city centers, right? The cars that we use. So we decided that, okay, why don't we change the transport industry? Why don't we change the mode of transportation? So
Arnold Anochiam is operations manager for Solar Taxi Ghana.
This particular tricycle doesn't have any engine, so it is powered fully by the batteries, which the batteries supply its power to the electric motorbike at the back. So we have the batteries under this particular seat, which I'm going to show you now. So there are 5 separate batteries connected in series over here. So what happens is, whenever you charge, after charging, the battery gets full and it stores the energy. So during movement, the energy that is required by the vehicle to move or by the motor to move is supplied from these batteries. You understand? Very good. So this one also, it is also being powered by the solar panel. You understand? So as you move in the sun, the panel also keeps charging it. So it's just like charge as you go. You understand? We have the port for charging over here. You just lift the lid, then you fix it. Then you connect this one to any outlet. The power taken from the batteries powers this motor, this electric motor down here. And when the motor begins to move, it turns the wheels, that's the axle.
Inverters embedded in the vehicle are able to store solar energy to keep it moving when the sun goes down. The electric option, which is energy saving, takes 6 hours to fully charge for a 14-hour ride. The leather seats are similar to, but more comfortable than those of tricycles already on the market. The back seats of the tricycle are convertible to create more space for cargo. Steering wheels, gears and brakes have similar features except a reverse screen which displays view at the back when it is in reverse gear. There have been questions about the safety of Pragia because they have no doors. This one is different. Whoever is in this Pragia is safer than the traditional Pragia we know, and also some comfort as well because it comes with a fan. A cargo tricycle, popularly called a boboya, has also been made with similar technology. Other special purpose motorbikes, including delivery and commercial services, are assembled here with same technology. The MasterCard Foundation sponsored project faces import duty hurdle.
We imported the parts from China and we assembled them on these premises. So moving forward, we want to expand our production line. But the problem here is the import duties we paid for the importation at the harbor for this particular tricycle. The price we paid for this particular one was almost 3 times the cost of this particular tricycle.
In spite of the challenge, the hub targets to assemble more vehicles by close of September, with females in the first cohort of drivers. From Kumasi for Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Ghana's infrastructure is a major concern for the National Development Planning Commission. The Commission hopes to ensure that the country can boast of a befitting and adequate social infrastructure on the country's centenary anniversary. How do they expect to achieve that? I've been joined in the studio by the Acting Deputy Director, Strategic Planning and Policy Directorate, Energy Commission, Mr. Isaac Ennison, who is a member of the Energy Infrastructure Policy Planning Committee working with the NDPC. Now, Mr. Anderson, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, the NDPC is working on our 100-year plan. Yeah. Yes, and in 2047, what is the energy bit that is going to support the infrastructure plan?
Yes, Ghana expects to attain an upper high-level income status. In 2047, we'll be doing around $50,000 per capita. About 2057, then we go about $60,000 per capita, and it translates to even above the current per capita income of the United States. So it's quite an ambitious plan. And energy is expected to play a crucial role in this, and energy demand will therefore increase. 2047 will require over 40,000 megawatts of installed capacity. And 2057, it will rise to about 50,000 megawatts of installed capacity. So this is quite very, very high. And we have to put in place the necessary strategies to ensure that energy becomes the driver of our economy in achieving this.
50,000 megawatts of power?
Yes.
At 2057?
Yes.
Where are we getting this from?
Well, there will be a mix of sources. If you look at Ghana's energy resources, we found oil, we found gas, we have abundant solar. Hydro, we have only 800 megawatts to tap. We've done about 1,500 of hydro, so you see that hydro is almost 2,000 megawatts, so we can't do much with hydro. And then, in the case of biomass, I mean, the forest is depleting and we have land issues. So even though biomass will play a role, not much. So the major drivers will be base load options. In that time, we have gas, our local gas plus gas imports. We have coal and nuclear. So these are the three major drivers that will help us. If it so happens that solar, we have storage. I mean, the research activities are going on, but if you have storage for solar, then solar will also expected to play a role. And currently we've done about 8,000 megawatts for the renewables. But if storage technologies improve, then solar can go very high. Even takes, initially we're thinking about 10% of renewables. And solar can take about 15,000 megawatts, or even more, depending on how the situation will be. So that's how the issues are going.
The world is moving away from fossil fuels, and so coal is becoming very unpopular.
Yes.
Why are we going heavy on coal in 50 years?
Yes, it's true. I mean, we've checked what is happening in Europe and other places. And we've seen that even though there is this issue of shifting away from fossil fuels, getting the replacement is not easy. And most of the arguments that are raised are based on analysis. They are based on targets. But when you ask the question whether the technologies are there to achieve the alternatives economically, we don't get the answer straight. And we don't want to plan in a manner that is based on certain assumptions which cannot be real. So we look at the technological realities and factor that into our accounts. Now, coal, there are also efforts to improve upon the cleanness of coal. Then there are also interventions these days that sink the carbon emission of coal. What is being done that for every coal plant that you build, you have an associated afforestation program, so that whatever is released as carbon dioxide is also sunk by the afforestation program. And certain countries, Senegal and also India, have done that.
Mr. Anderson, thank you very much. Now, this conversation will feature heavily, I believe, on tonight's National Development Forum, taking place at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences at 5:30 p.m.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Anderson, for
You're
joining
welcome.
us. All right. It's still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. Coming up in business, sources say half of the savings and loans companies in the country could go down in planned cleanup of the sector. It's now time to get our NSMQ update. St. John's Grammar has won against Bishop Herman College and Ghana National College. MFA Nancy Joadosi has more.
that dropping some points. But obviously, these old students I see around here have been very optimistic, and they have been talking and making noise before, like they knew that they were going to win. You are an old student of St. John's Grammar. How are you feeling at this point?
Oh, we are feeling very happy because our boys have done something that over the years nobody was able to do. But this year, I think 2019, but we are doing good. We are doing good.
Are you going to win?
Oh, we are promising to go to the final and win, bring the trophy to Domi.
Let me speak to some of you also. No, come on the side. What's your name?
I'm Bismarck.
How are you feeling right now?
Madam, I'm feeling more comfortable, but you know, we wish to do best next time, more than this, because I'm not happy about the point. Although we win, but next time I want to improve more.
Thank you. Let me speak to you.
We are winning, yo, 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 yo. We are winning. We are winning, yo, 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 yo. We are winning. Oh, we are winning, yeah, 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 yeah. Abemwe, abemwe, onyame bosano. Abemwe, 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 onyame bosano.
Okay.
Congratulations to all the contestants and all students of St. John's Grammar, and all the best to contestants of subsequent contests. That's it for this bulletin of Joy News today. My name is Daniel Dazi. Up next is the Marketplace. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. We'll be back at midday tomorrow. Have a good day.